These are my note cards. This is my audience. All right. Have you ever thought about owning a pool? Maybe you have a pool and you wish to know how to take care of it. My name is Jack Siegrist, and today I'm going to tell you the 5 essential ways to keep your pool water clear and sparkling clean. So, there's circulation, filtration, the cleaning, testing, and then the chemicals that you put in your water. Let's start with circulation, the most important part of keeping water clear and clean. So circulation is where the water is moving in the pool through your filters. This catches a bunch of dirt, debris, and oils from like suntan lotion and other stuff you have on your body or comes from the weather outside. It's important that it does this because it keeps things from growing in the water, as well as, like I said before, moving those undesirables to the filters. So what are the filters? How are they important? Well, the filters catch all these oils, debris, and they keep your water clean, as well as catching anything that you don't want in the water, being the organisms, hardness, or anything along those veins. You should clean your filters over about every 4 to 6 weeks. And that goes into our next step, the cleaning step, because while the circulation and filtration are important, they're not going to catch and clean everything in your water. There'll always be a few of those dead spots in the liner, in the floor. So when you get those, what you do is you have like either robots or vacuums or other ways, like scrubbers, and you find those spots and you just clean them up. That way you can keep your pool 100% clean and looking great. So after you leave cleaning, we come to the part where when do you know when to put in your chemicals? When do you know it's ready for testing? Experts recommend that you do it every about once a week and every time you open or close your pool. So when you test it, you usually have test strips, and test strips test for your sanitizer levels, your pH, alkalinity ranges, and these are good indicators of when you should put in chemicals, when should you not, when do they need them, when do they not. When you're opening a pool for the first time, you'll usually need to test it once or twice just to make sure you get it right, because it's been sitting there all winter, just kind of collecting organisms and debris and other stuff. The water may look green when you open it, and if you didn't close it right, it may have algae. So what you want to do is you want to test it out and make sure you can get that all set up so you can enjoy it for the rest of your year until winter again. For closing it, you drain it all and you put a bunch of chemicals and algicides in to make sure that that doesn't happen when you open it. It makes opening easier. So let's talk about the chemicals themselves. So chemicals usually start with a sanitizer. This is your cleaner. This is what kills the organisms in your water and keeps it clean. Examples of this would be chlorine, which is the most commonly used. And then there's bromine and salt. So chlorine is your sanitizer, as in it binds to things and has that chlorine smell. That usually means that it's expended, it's ready to be cleaned up afterward. That's how you know it's been cleaning and things are dirty in their water. And that's when you move over to your oxidizers. Oxidizers are used to get that chlorine working again because there's total and free chlorine. Total chlorine is how much chlorine is in the water, and free chlorine is how much of that total chlorine is actually working to keep your water clean and fresh. If you can smell that chlorine, that means it's not clean, and a lot of it's been binded to stuff, and you need to use your oxidizers, which essentially gas off the things the chlorine kills, returning it back to work, keeping it nice and working order. After that, you have algae. Algae is a problem in a lot of pools, and it's horrible to deal with if you get it. So it's recommended heavily that you also put in weekly preventatives to make sure that your water never produces algae and that your water is always circulating to also deter algae from even trying to grow. If you do get algae, it is a pain to get rid of, as I said, and what you need to do is you need to put in algicides, which can be pretty expensive, but it's necessary, along with a lot more sanitizer. This is your chlorine, bromine, than you normally would put in your water. This is to make sure that it's so high that no algae survives when you put in the algicides. After that, what's important is to maintain your pH and alkalinity levels. Your pH should fall between 7.2 and 7.6. This is a comfortable range because if it's too high, it creates irritation on the skin, like rashes, and if it's too low, your eyes might sting, and it's very uncomfortable. Your alkalinity is essentially a buffer to the acid in your water. This keeps the pH from fluctuating too much from things like rain and the weather outside and you getting in the water without washing off beforehand, all these things. Last is hardness. Hardness is your metals and calcium in the water, mostly calcium. Water has a demand for calcium. It needs that calcium, but if it also has too much, it can cause other problems. So if calcium is too high, it causes scale, which is where the calcium starts building up around your filters and your water flow, causing problems in circulation, which again is not ideal. You'd have to clean it off yourself too, which is also not ideal. If it's too low, the water will try to find hardness elsewhere. It has that calcium demand, and it'll try eating that from your surrounding pool liner, your filters, your pipes. It'll find ways to get that hardness in itself. So it's good to keep that also balanced correctly. Other than that, there are metals, which can be like iron, copper, just trace metals that get in there from either getting in with some metal on you or like a hose, just any metals at all. These causes like stains to the pool liner and other like cloudiness to the water, but are usually not a problem when you go swimming. So going back when I touched upon, it's important to keep your 5 factors in check: the circulation, filtration, cleaning, testing, and water chemistry, because it keeps your water sparkling clear and safe all throughout its use. And that is the end of my speech.